Okay, let's get going. Blended Family Nation, USABFA. Here we go. Let's get started now. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Blended Family Nation. It's a special day today as we interview this because it's National Step Family Day, September the 16th. I'm very honored to have my guest, who's an ongoing partner, going to be a great partner for all of you, serving the Blended Family Nation, Richard Ramos. And he's here, is out of California, but covers all of America. He's written a book, The Art of Stepparenting. We're going to talk about that. He also has an incredible program called Parents on the Mission, and we'll talk about that. He's noted all across the land, has been served in Washington, D.C. and schools. We'll talk all about this as we're here. Welcome, Richard. Great to have you on Blended Family Nation.
It's my pleasure, Dan. Thanks a lot for inviting me on your show.
Each and every week, multiple times, we have people like Richard, and Richard is one of the key success stories of what's going on in the country to making the place we call home, your house, my house, everybody's house, in the step family environment. So we're just going to talk about a few things today, and I'll encourage you, as you see, Richard's website here is on the screen. You can reach out to him by that. Got a lot of great programs. So, Richard, maybe touched on it a little bit. You've done a lot of things, as I've known a lot of people in the world of blended family and single parenting on up and down, and you're one of the most encouraging, positive guys I've come across. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you've been doing in this arena.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate you saying that, Dan. Yeah, my background, I grew up in Northeast Los Angeles. I was raised by a single mother. I'm the youngest of 5 children. Unfortunately, my father was an alcoholic, and so that caused a lot of domestic violence that I witnessed as a young boy. And then eventually my mother made him leave for that very reason. So I think that has always stuck with me, along with that area where I grew up. There's a lot of gangs, a lot of violence, things like that, things that are still happening today. Part of the reason that I do what I do is that I never forgot where I came from. And I've seen families like mine broken and kids going off in the wrong direction, which my brother and I started to do. But thank God for my mom, a single mom, a strong single mom. For all you single mothers out there, you can do it. Even though you're alone, you still can make good with your kids, even if they begin to get off track for a little while. So that's a word of encouragement to you. But I also, along in my career, I became a at-risk counselor at a junior high school. I had 50 of the worst kids on my caseload. And my job was to help them out, try to get them back in school, their grades. Some of them were in gangs, some using drugs, some dropping out of school, things like that. So I was doing my best to help them out. But then one day I decided I needed to talk to their parents to really get a better picture of what was going on. And Dan, when I did that, that's when everything changed for me. That's how Parents on a Mission got started, because when I went to their home and I witnessed the dysfunction, the lack of respect, the lack of communication, the lack of control, I knew then I was fighting a losing battle, because everything I was doing to build these young people up was being torn down at home. And I said to myself, if I want to help these students, I need to help mom and dad. Now, at the time, I was a young parent myself, but I just believed that if I just encouraged, and so I just started to do classes and encourage with principles that I feel are universal principles, that any parent, if we're going to be loving and nurturing and kind and honest and accountable and those kinds of things, that's what I began to teach and got some good results. But what happened, it began to grow beyond what one person could do. And so what I've been doing to bring it up to where I'm at today, what I've been doing for many years now, I've been certifying what I call Parent on a Mission mentors. And what they do after the 3-day training with me, they take my curriculum and they teach it to whatever parents they're working with in school districts or churches or nonprofits, in jails, in prisons. These are the parents that need or want or they're hungry for help. Blended families, single parents, biological parents, all across the board. And so that's what I've been doing. What's rewarding for me is that I'm not the one doing the one-on-one with parents. I'm mentoring those that are doing the one-on-one, and that's been very rewarding for me.
Wow, that is so powerful because you're not just going there and fishing for them and giving them a fish. You're teaching them to fish, so to
Yes.
speak, as the
Yes,
analogy
sir.
goes. You're creating points of light, as a former president once said, all across the country. And folks at USABFA, we do have regional directors, and the fact that organization is growing. So if you are out there somewhere across America and you have a heart for serving in this arena and want to make a difference, please reach out to me at USABFA and what Richard has done. And then obviously that's a natural place for those regional directors to come on board to get certified with you and make a difference. And Richard is going to be, as we go across the country in the coming years with programs and events and rallies and getaways. We have a great on board that's going to plan everything from weekend getaways with a conference in education, as well as even a cruise. So a lot of neat things happening with great moments to learn and understand. As you were speaking there, Richard, I felt your heart. I felt the heart of a young child, which many of the children involved in the families we serve, they just children want to be loved. They want to be accepted. And you've gone through a lot. So there's a lot of single parents watching right now, single moms and single dads that go, wow, this guy gets it. I'm glad he's on board with USA BFA. So can you imagine, as you were going out and talking with people, I know you do one-on-one counseling as well as with your parents on a mission. You wrote a book. And tell us a little bit about the art of step parenting.
Yeah, I wrote The Art of Stepparenting recently because it's a sequel to my Parents on a Mission book, How to Win. Parents can win the competition for the heart, mind, and loyalty of their children. So that's my Parent on a Mission curriculum in a book for people to, maybe there's no Parent on a Mission class. So I said, well, here's the book. You can get the book. But as a sequel to that, because I've been a step parent all of my parenting life. And so I wanted to add my voice to the step parent blended family arena because, first of all, I've lived it. I know the struggles, the dynamics. It's not easy. It's hard to do. You got to, hang in there. And I wanted to speak to some of the errors and mistakes I've made, but also I've learned from those things. And I wanted it to be a hope for blended families or step parents or dads or moms that are being rejected, fighting those battles, all the things that go on. I wanted them to hear my message that I've been there, you can make it. You can make it work. Don't give in. And the key to that is that we work on ourselves. It's not about us changing our spouse or changing our children. It's about us working on ourselves and growing ourselves. That's been my experience because, Dan, I've made a lot of mistakes and I wanted to put it in the book. It's kind of like the Bible. The Bible is full of it. The Bible doesn't hold back the failures of the men of God or the people of God. It doesn't hold back any of that. And so in my book, I wanted to be honest about my story, but the hope is here I am. We're doing great. Our blended family's doing great. And I just wanted to give that message of hope, even though there's a lot of valleys and mountains.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. Yeah. I say with a smile, if I had $1 for every mistake I made as a parent, as a step parent, I would probably maybe have a yacht. I might even have a yacht in the Pacific Ocean out by you, but for sure a Colorado cabin. I'm sure of that because I've made tons of mistakes and learned from them. We learn from them, and I think your heart and spirit and mine is that we want to build up and lift up those single moms and parents and also children. We have programs at USA BFA that help with communication for children. Actually, a great organization out of the Baltimore area, Outfluence, they work with communication for children. They go in, like you have been involved in the schools, they're involved in the schools with teaching children self-image, self-confidence, how to say no, how to ask, how to express. So there's a lot of good, powerful tools that you did all your life. You and they will be a great combination. So it's as we're talking about this, just in the sheer numbers. There's somebody watching this today, and they go, "Wow, that Richard guy, he gets it," and this is good. He's on here, and I don't know if people recognize. So if you're watching this, and you know somebody in a blended family or that's a single parent, step family environment, I encourage you to just hit the share, click and share this or copy the link and send it to them in an email to give them encouragement, get them to join USABFA, to get weekly. We're going to be talking to Richard ongoing, and we're going to take different topics and we're going to put them out there, and where some people, yes, you can go, and there's a lot of wonderful counselors out there across America, but sometimes it may cost you $80, $100, $120 an hour. At USABFA, less than $4 a month. You're getting proactive, a lot of resources, and as we go on, we have question and answer sessions. Share this video and say, hey, I think you ought to maybe take a look at this USABFA because of people like Richard Ramos. But the numbers, there are 29 million households in America, blended family households. And that means 58 million husbands and wives, right? And then all of a sudden, instead of having 2 sets of grandparents, you got 3 or 4 sets of grandparents. And then the statistic is, it used to be the traditional family was mom, dad, and 2 kids. Now it's mom, dad, and 4.8 kids, according to the statistics. So when you add the children of divorce and single parents, because we serve single parents, which is just a fantastic, your history, I mean, you think about it, you're exactly what the people, you've walked in those shoes. But when you add the children and those grandparents, I mean, we're up to about almost 250 million hearts and souls and minds are affected every week as children maybe go from one house to the other. Grandparents, we have a grandparenting and a blended family class, and people, they go sometimes, well, my daughter married this guy, he's got a couple kids, or my son married this girl, he's got a couple kids. What do I call him? How do I treat him? You know this. Kids just want to be loved all your life. You were teaching it in schools with the challenging kids, and they just want to be loved and understood. And they're like, hey, this person, this new grandparent, they're a gift, a part of this new family. And so it's just a gigantic demographic. So as you look at all the things you've seen over the years, and I think you were already being a solutioneer, as I call it, you were trying to do solutions in the school system. As you look at the challenges across America we have as a nation, what we're trying to do at USABFA, is there can you think of anything that, gosh, if I could close my eyes and fix this or that, or get the mindset change, or maybe get the American education programs or government to take a look at this, or state governments, you got any ideas of what you could do to make it better?
Well, one of the things I'm trying to do is say this to parents, and I hope that they'll hear me, that you need to understand, whether you're biological parent, single parent, foster parent, step parent, blended family, that you are in a daily battle, a daily war, a daily competition for the heart, mind, and loyalty of your children. And if you don't understand that, you're not even in the game, and you need to get in the game. And if you're taking the loyalty of your children for granted, you're making a huge mistake. And because we all know what the main battlefield that I feel is social media and the social media influencers that are out there. Too many children are being pulled away from our authority. The authority of parents is being undermined in America, in schools, university, government, all kinds of places. I could go on and on, but I think you all know that. So what I see, Dan, is parents need to take serious who is going to win the battle for the loyalty of your daughter. Who's going to win the battle for the loyalty of your son? Because that is the prize, and they are being targeted. And we can see what happens with young people, whether we want to talk about school shootings, crimes, whatever we want to talk about. What happens when young people are neglected, abandoned, and or abused?
Wow. That's a home run, and it's timely as to what's happened in the last week. One of the things I created years ago when I was more active, now I'm back in the arena, was a program called Blended Family Huddles. And that's where, sometimes it was to be hard at first, but you make it fun, you make it where that you can listen and the kids can be a part of talking through things. And I want to get your input as I improve that in the coming months, because we want to have that be, as it's actually a free program within USABFA. We'll send out the program information on that. But Charlie Kirk, was assassinated. A young man. It's just sad for the whole. It's sad for the country, sad for Charlie Kirk and his wife Erica and those two children. But it's also sad for this young man. The whole country is against him right now, and his parents are aching. But it sounds like he started out exactly where you're going. He started out as was very good on his ACT tests in Utah. The Mormon faith is very strong, and I admire so many of their principles. But somehow they're talking about being impacted. I don't like the term radicalized. It's it's a harsh term, and people may say, "Well, that's it." But I just think impacted, and you said it. It's a battle, whatever you want to call it. It's a battle for the mind. That's where I think blended family huddles. Any thoughts on this timely? It's a sad thing.
It's a very sad thing. If you don't mind, Dan, I want to mention my podcast.
Yes.
Because I just recently addressed this in the podcast. I think it'll come out. If it didn't come out today, it'll come out Thursday. The Parent Whisperer podcast.com. You could go there, and I've been addressing these issues that Dan is talking about, that USABFA has been dealing with, and that's why I think we met. I've been speaking to those things, but I spoke about everybody rushed to politicize this issue, and everybody rushed, to make their point. And my input was, this is about, for parents, from our perspective, we have to know how to talk to our children about this. It's the first thing is not about making a point or politicizing or causing division, but choosing dignity and choosing to talk to our children about humanity, and that somebody was murdered and killed and lost. A father was lost, a husband was lost, a human being was lost. And I just wanted to encourage parents how we could address this with our children. How do you talk to them about this? Because they're going to see it. They're going to read about it. It's all over the internet. It's talked about everywhere. And they're going to wonder in their own little mind, or they might even ask you, Dad, what about this? Or what happened? Or why did that happen? And I just wanted to encourage parents that we needed to be able to address it in a kind, human, and from a spiritual perspective, not to be giving kids this politicized, just kind of an ugly message of revenge, and as you said, radicalized and all those things. So they could go there and listen to that. The name of that podcast is Loyalty and Charlie Kirk.
Okay. Yeah. So folks, you see that right above here, above on the screen, you see the link, how to get to that podcast. But yeah, and family huddles scenarios, exactly what Richard was talking about. You could to do it, or maybe around a campfire. Everybody loves a little campfire, or taking a walk. Go someplace that's kind of cool and take a hike or a walk. It only has to be, maybe 30 minutes. Campfire, you can make s'mores, or you could do something. We have actually a document, you kind of follow along with have a little fun, a little humor, and then ask the questions. Hey, what's the greatest thing that happened to you this week? Or what's on your heart that's bothering you? And if you get everybody sharing, then all of a sudden kids are understanding my family cares and becomes better of a family unit. Wow. So Richard, wow, we could probably go on, but stay tuned, folks. You got to come back to hear more of Richard Ramos. Every week we'll be back, because that's the key. A USABFA delivering fresh, new topics, timely topics like we just talked about, or things that have been going on a long time, because you nailed it. A battle and a war. Sadly, there's all kinds of dynamics that go on. Sometimes biological parents fight, or sometimes the new family parents fight, and co-parenting. There's so many topics. We'll be talking about those each and every week, and that's why you tune in to Blended Family Nation. Richard, if you would just share, it'll be on the screen here, but your website and that podcast one last time, so that they can, how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can go to my website, richardrramos.com. Don't forget my middle initial, because there's a lot of Richard Ramoses in the world. If you put richardrramos.com, that's going to be somebody else. rramos.com, that's my website. There's resources there, some free resources. My books are there. You can there, and I have an online course there if you care to learn more about that. The podcast is the parentwhispererpodcast.com. And I provide 2 episodes a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. They're published.
Fantastic. Richard, thank you. And folks, keep tuning in. You get new information every week, multiple times a week, because USABFA is here to serve you. So until next time, have a great week. And thanks for tuning in. Come back tomorrow, the next day, and each and every week, as we have literally every week, 8 to 10 new, fresh interviews, many with live question and answer sessions just for you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a member of USABFA. Tell your friends, share this, and tell them you can get this information too.